Welcome to the future, guys. This is take 2. Hopefully the second time is twice as good as the first time. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We're launching a new series called Logo Therapy, and it's a weekly series where we're going to dive deep and do 2 logos by 2 designers for 30 minutes. I hope you guys like that concept. So let me introduce you to the 2 designers we're going to be talking to today. First up is Jelvin Critiques. He's in Manila, and it's a little past 2 a.m., so he's a real trooper. If you guys want to find Jelvin on social media, it's at Jelvin. And this is the work that he does. Hand lettering, black letter, monoline, just really beautiful calligraphy. If you're looking for a lettering expert, he's fantastic. And he's been on our show once before, helping us out with some logo design. Next up is Mihai, and he's from Moldova. And I think it's around 9 p.m. or something like that. Not horrible. And the reason why I was able to spot both these guys is because they do work that has popped up on my social feed. I saw some of his Facebook videos where he deconstructs or shows you process on how he draws his logos. So I encourage you to look him up, check him out. It's at MD_DES with the number 1 GN. It's making it really hard to find him. That is a lot to type in. So it's like MD design, but it's funny. It's funny like the way it's spelled, whatever. So you can see that these are 2 contrasting styles. So I'm really looking forward to what they bring to each week's logo critique. First up is Paul Arendam. And the reason why we are able to find your work, and if you're interested in having your work critiqued, because it's a question we get asked a lot, go to our Facebook page at The Future is Here. Look for when we call for entries, submit it, and then the designers get to pick who they want to talk about. So this is one of those daily logo design challenges from Paul. And now we're going to jump to Jelvin. Jelvin, let's get right into it. The people are interested in why you picked this logo.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Yeah. So first of all, huge thanks to Paul for letting me present this logo to him. So yeah, if you guys can see like my feed right now. In Illustrator. Yeah. Okay. Everything's good. So the reason why I chose this logo is because it's script logo is like down in my alley, and I deal a lot with script mostly, and what one of my favorite styles is actually doing a monoline style of script. Yeah,
and you're really good at it. You really are.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, so this is in your zone, your lane, your alley. This is your jam, and so you picked this one because you kind of have, there's some areas for improvement, but you're also really strong at this, and we know that we only have about 10 minutes for each designer to critique it. So let's get right in. So what did you like about this, and what did you think needs improvement?
Yeah. So what I like about this is that there's a overall direction that's going. It's pretty clean. It's pretty simple. It's pretty modern looking. And I like how the script is done. If you guys, I kind of deconstructed this for a bit. So if you guys, I kind of place this deconstructed into a layout. Yeah. So in terms of overall spacing, it's pretty good. If you like see these parts here, the white space is proper, kind of like properly laid out, and also the ones outside the circle is it's an approximation of the grid, kind of like the baseline that Paul used. It's pretty good overall design.
And so what are you looking? Wait, before you move on, what are you looking at right there in terms of the proper spacing and balance? Is it amount of negative space and it feels optically even? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, it's the negative space most of the time. Yeah, I'm gonna share some things about that.
Okay, keep going. Thank you.
In the next slide. So one quirky thing that I saw in this logo is that there's a bean illustration here in the middle. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of got into the look as well, and kind of realized that it's a coffee bean. So yeah. Oh, and so moving on to the things that I think can be improved. So in terms of the pairing of the script with the type, normally when I do a script logo that pairs with a certain typeface or something, I would stray away from having a weight of the font being thicker than the actual script. So, for example, I think this is Gotham, I think.
You can't tell. Those 3 letters are very hard to tell. It could be Futura. It could be a lot of different typefaces.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But first thing I see is the weight of the type here is thicker than the actual script.
Right.
And what I tend to do when I look at a logo is I squint, and when I see that there's something that's kind of like emphasized in the layout, I try to change that. So when I look at this in a smaller size, this blob here, when I squint, I see a little blob from the THE. So it kind of gives, I think it kind of focused more on the THE than the grind, because the monoline tends to have like equal equal strokes all around. So that's one thing.
Right.
So when we're looking at script, there's an the slant of the script is something that I always look at. So if I can use like some references here, this is what we call a copperplate script. It's a round hand script in calligraphy, and as you can see, like the inclination of every letter, it has the same slant to it. So looking at this one and deconstructing it further, we can see that some of the letters aren't really aligned. Yeah. So for example,
Oh wow, when you do it like that, it becomes very obvious. Because before I'm like, they're consistent, Jelvin, and then you do it like that, and it looks like a train wreck.
It's not really a train wreck. It's more of something that we want to like consider when we're designing. But yeah, if you look at the letter, yeah. So if you look at
don't mind me, just keep talking, dude. Keep teaching. Don't worry.
Yeah. If we look at the letter N and D, it's pretty straight. And if we move the this here, the line here to the side of the letter, it's pretty consistent. But if we see like the overall structure of like the G, R, or letter I here, it's it doesn't really align to the grid that I formed earlier. Yeah. And in terms of the negative space, one thing here is that if I try to look at the volume of space in between the letters, it's kind of mixed up. Yeah, and that's another thing that I really look at when I'm designing scripts. Yeah.
Okay.
So after I tried to do some drafts here. So these are some of the things that I did earlier this morning, and when I design a logo, I usually tend to draft a ton. Yeah, so this is an example of what I usually do when I design a logo. So the layout that I chose is this one. It's this one. Yeah. So once I've established the draft that I want to do, I go ahead and backtrack everything. So this is the scan portion. Yeah.
Okay. And are you doing that sketch in pencil or pen, or what are you doing there?
I use pencil and paper. Yeah.
Okay.
Traditional. Right. Yeah, and I scan it. Yeah. This is the scan draft of the thing that I did. Yeah. So, like what I mentioned about the indentation a while ago, using this grid, let's kind of deconstruct everything here. So, what I do is whenever I do a new logo, I prep everything up first. So hold on, let me try to do a new layer. Yeah. There you go.
Can you lock that layer? Is that layer bothering you right now?
I'm not sure why it's wait. Huh. It's pretty weird. It's kind of doing multiple layers, but anyway. So what I usually do is I'm just gonna go the next slide. Yeah.
Wait, you can't skip this very important stage because you're having some technical difficulty. What are you doing here? You're gonna lock that layer in theory, or you're gonna turn it into a template layer, right?
Yeah, I use it as a template layer.
Grid lines on top.
Yep, some lines on top, and this becomes like my guide whenever I do. Oh, there you go. This becomes my guide whenever I do a script. And what this trick that I do here is to use the blend tool. It's a shortcut. Shortcut is W. So what I do is to blend these two lines here. Let me try to blend these two lines.
You need to select them. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay. So if you double click on the settings here, let's move the option here. You can change the properties of the blend option to distance, and I can set this to every how many inches or so. So, for example, steps rather. So if for example, I do 50 steps, yeah, it's gonna have a grid, and this is kind of like a guideline for me to actually use for the slants of the letters. Yeah,
Perfect.
and let's establish the baseline here. Yep. And I just duplicate this to like do the X height. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do the same for the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much good when in terms of like how I want to set things up. So right now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try doing the letters. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
now before you do that, I want to just point out something real quick to everybody. If you're gonna draw a baseline, the baseline is usually where the flat spot of the letter X lands. So that if you have a curved part, it's going to overshoot the baseline. I just want to point that out.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
Yes. So going back, let me just try to.
You can turn those into guides or something?
Sometimes I turn it into guides, but sometimes I just have that as a reference. Yeah.
Okay. Will you lock it?
So yeah, I locked it. Then okay. So what I normally do is to do the lowercase letters first because it's easier to do, and once you've established the slants of the letters, then okay, it's gonna be easier for the other letters. You doing the capital the uppercase letter can be a little tricky, but it's the same concept. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I do is to start with the easiest letter. So typically it's the letter I. Yeah. Yep. So,
okay. So while you draw, I want to just comment on a few things, okay, once you get going here.
Sure thing, yeah.
Which is, although we were both looking at the original design that was submitted, the coffee bean into the G was a nice idea, but it really made the G look strange and hard to read. So sometimes you have to balance trying to find an idea and just making something that's beautiful, legible, and looks good, right? And so I can see now that Jelvin has already dumped that idea, as far as I can tell, that he's not going to try to work in a coffee bean in there because he would rather make nice letter forms than to try to get too clever with his design. Next thing I noticed too is he got rid of the way that you drew the I. When you drew your I before, you added a loop, which it makes the I look like a different letter.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a letter L.
Yes, or a really skinny O or something.
Yep. So what I'm trying to
using the pen tool, right?
Yeah, I'm using the pen tool. It's like a designer's best friend. Yeah.
And then you're making sure that they stay consistent to the stroke angle that you've established.
Yes, to the angles and the alignment and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I do here is to let me just hide the layers here.
Is it me or is your finger and your mouse moving really fast, dude?
My choice to.
No, keep on.
Okay, sorry.
He's a fast designer.
No, it's like I'm trying to follow your mouse and it's like it's jumping all over the place. Maybe you've had too much coffee.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot to install the shortcut plugin where you can see the things that I press. So I'm gonna do that next time. Yeah.
Next time.
So what I typically would do is to look at the curves, and it's kind of like it's something that you it takes practice for you to see which curves are good, which curves are not. But the typical practice is make sure that the anchors don't go over the previous ones because it's going to make a very awkward look.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm just going to do like some quick adjustments here before I move on. And I normally would want to start the adjustments early. Some people do it like after they've established the structures of the letters, but what I do is to like do it early, way early
You
in
want
the
it to look
game.
good in the beginning.
Yeah.
Gives you a boost of confidence. That's going to work out. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So when I design scripts, I usually look at the spacing, especially in monoline. It's gives you like a little when you're doing monoline, especially, it kind of gives you a little opportunity to look at the thickness and the thicks and thins. So you have to really work on the structure itself. So yeah.
Is it typical that you do a sketch and then you turn off the sketch pretty early once you've drawn a little bit of it so that you're not a slave to it?
Yeah, because once you try to follow the things on the sketch, and if you turn it off, sometimes it's gonna look weird, at least in my experience. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you're judging it based on the letter form as it stands, and the sketch could make you feel like it's better than it really is.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So I just turn it back on. So as you can see, there's a ton of adjustments that I've done already, and one of the things that I kind of change is the spacing. Yeah. So in script, spacing is pretty important, especially in calligraphy. So I'm just gonna draw some references here. If I draw a circle here, it should have the same width as the one in here, for example. In here, rather, sorry, because that's the space between the letters. And
I see.
it should also be the same here. Yeah. So I can see that the spacing from this side is a little bit smaller from this. So I'm gonna adjust the letters more. Yeah.
All right. While you do that, I'm going to monitor some questions, and then we'll need to jump forward at some point here.
Yeah. So I can jump forward. Yeah. You can. Okay.
Oh, there's 580 people watching. Dang, they must like lettering or something. How you guys doing, the internet? Let us know you're alive.
They want to see their logo on screen. That's why they're like, "Who's next?" Now this is cool. I like how Jelvin is working, because I always wondered how the monoline, like how you perfect that stuff. So what I got from this is your curves. You don't want to overshoot your curves, right? You want to keep things kind of aligned. It doesn't look like you're using too many points, because I know in the past that's where I've gotten caught up, where I'm using too many points on the curves. Also, you're establishing, once you've established one letter, which is this N here, which is a very common curve letter in script, you're establishing a unit measurement. So your baseline unit, it looks like you're establishing that once you draw this nice letter form, and then you're balancing against that, which I know in the end we're going to balance optically. But it's nice to see how you're using a lot of these shorthand tools as you're building off of one letter.
Yeah. And at the same time, I usually how do you call this? There's this thing called ductus, order of letters. So if you, for example, this letter D, I typically won't do the letter D in one full sweep. Wait, did I use that right? Yeah, in just one letter, because there's this oval here that needs to be adjusted every now and then before I actually do this part. Yeah. One cool thing about script is that once you've established a certain shape, you can just repeat the things into other letters. So for example, I can use the structure of this letter I here and copy that, and eventually use that to the letter D here. Wait, let me just adjust it for a bit. Yeah. There you go. This is to not make things redundant. So your flourish, you can actually, for the flourish here in the end, you can actually play around with it. This just happens to be the layout that I that I made. So is it okay if I jump forward to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like the thing that I made the other day, and in advances it kind of ended up with something like this. So as you can see, from the draft, it's different. It's very different already from the thing that I made. So this goes back to what Chris mentioned about me trying to deal with one letter at a time and eventually have everything in the finished product sorted out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, did you change the stroke weight on the to be different than grind, or is that just because it was scaled down?
Actually had a thinner stroke because I wanted to emphasize the grind. That's why the the
Okay.
is on a thinner stroke, around
see.
7 or 8. Yeah. Well, typically, if you do if it has the same size, it's gonna have the same weight to it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, one thing to note is that coming from this to this, it takes a ton of practice and a ton of looking at formal scripts first before actually trying to style everything.
Mhm.
So if I open up the grid, you can see that every letter follows through the angles. Some of the baseline kind of shifted, but let me try to. It kind of looks something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of work requires a lot of refinement and practice because speaking from experience, if I were to try to draw that in your little thumbnail sketches, that would take me forever and it would not look that good. And I'm not being falsely modest because I've done a lettering monoline demo and it's not as good as yours, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, so after, like, this is kind of like my base. And after I finish my base, this is where I try to stylize. And if ever I need to go back to my drafts, like for example this is where I try to play around for a bit. So I usually have another artboard just for me to play around. So there's a ton of layouts that we can do. So for
Oh, that's
example,
nice.
I prepped this up already.
Mhm.
And this is the part where I try to pair up the things that will kind of meld to the base, which is the script here. Typically, I'll just use a sans serif here, but I kind of thought that okay, the THE might be a good opportunity. That's why I kind of made the THE as well. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
More well, yeah. So what I would do is to choose a couple of fonts. Like my go-to is usually what do you call this? DIN, FF DIN. So I try different fonts just to lay things out. Or what I do is to encapsulate everything in a circle. For example, here, just create a circle. Circle. Where are you? L. L.
In case you didn't hear, the keyboard shortcut for the circle or the ellipse tool is L, as in Larry. So now you're going to try to do one that is closer to his original design, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how you do that.
So I'm just gonna group the grind first. Group it.
You forgot the dot of the I.
Yep. As you can see, if you guys can see, like if I center everything, it's gonna
Wait, you forgot
have
the dot of the I
sorry.
in your grouping.
Thanks. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Going back to what we learned about optical, laying things out optically. If I like try to like center everything, it's gonna look weird. Yeah, that's why we need to adjust everything to even out the spacing and everything. So it kind of looks like something like this will like even the layout, balance the layout for a bit. Yeah.
So when you're doing this, Jelvin, are you making that circle there and trying to center RIN and then seeing where G and D align just to see if that centers?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I deal with when I lay things out in script, I usually tend to look at the ends as well. The center part of the script is pretty easy to manipulate, but if you see the capital G and then the D kind of clashes a little bit at the end. So this is where I do my best to even things out. Yeah.
So you're taking into consideration the entire script, including the flourishes, to try and find the optical center of that.
Yes.
Right. So right now by my eye, it looks like the circle's a little high. Is that right?
High.
A little high. You know, something like that.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
So next one is we're gonna try to like use a type tool on path.
Yep.
Coffee shop. Yeah. We're gonna write coffee shop. Coffee shop. And if you're gonna put things down here, it's gonna flip, right? So you need to like do a little trick here in case people don't know. It's to drag this little line up and it's gonna go here.
And then that happens. That happens to me all the time too, you guys. Adobe, if you're watching this, please, the way that the type on path tool used to work was fine, and now you've broken it. And it's a pain in the butt. It used to be very easy to flip that sucker over. Really easy.
Hey, Jelvin, we have some people asking, are you using an iPad, a tablet, or a mouse?
Oh, I'm using a tablet.
Tablet.
Yeah. It's hard on a mouse.
Really?
It's harder on that's debatable, but I
It is debatable because I'm going to debate with you right now. Keep drawing. Look, the show must continue, so keep working while I argue with you, okay?
Okay.
Do not take time to respond to me whatsoever. I forbid you from doing that. Okay. I love using the tablet, and for many years, my hand hurt from using the mouse. So I had to use a tablet just to save myself from getting carpal tunnel. And I find that when I'm drawing precisely in Illustrator, I just feel like I can do it much faster, more precisely with a mouse than I can with a Wacom. Conversely, in Photoshop, I can't stand working with the mouse. It feels limiting to me. So if you do some things that have varied stroke weights, or you're trying to like get that perfect single gesture, then I think the Wacom is the way to go. Now, of course, we've had people on our show who've done brilliant things with a mouse and brilliant things with a Wacom. So really, the tool is not going to dictate your talent. It's the talent that's most important. So whatever you find to be most helpful, use that.
Yep, definitely. So right now I'm just trying to play around with the layout and everything, and I can see that there's a direction going to it.
Hey, your mic is getting a little quiet here.
Is it good?
Yeah, just don't turn away from it too far.
Okay, sure thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that the layout here is. I'm just trying to emulate the layout that Paul did, and this is what I kind of came up with.
Right.
One of the reasons why I did the THE in advance is because sometimes if we're speaking in context, because I treat typography and what I treat typography as kind of like a form of speech. So having a different style when you're reading something is gonna differ when you're trying to talk. So that's why I kind of did the THE in advance so that I can play around with the layout here. So let me just bring that back. Yeah.
Although I thought it was nice the way you had that. I mean, it's interesting. Once you establish a good solid base, when the word grind looks solid and it's got nice flourishes and it's legible and it's not getting too tricky, pretty much everything that you're doing now, whether it's a straight layout or putting type on a path, it looks good. It's very handsome.
Yep. Yeah, so sometimes I would like look at the.
Oh, did you stretch it? Be careful.
Oh no, it's cool.
Oh, I think you just did accidentally stretch it, but
yep.
Make sure you guys hold down that shift key. or you'll have shifty lettering, if you know what I mean. Shifty. All right, just want to make sure people know that I'm enunciating correctly here. All right. Man, this would look good on a t-shirt. It look good on a mug, window sign.
Tattoo.
Let's print out.
For Mark, just put the grind on your belly. That's a good tattoo for you. What do you think? Everybody that wants to see Mark get the grind tattoo on his belly, just comment to it, Mark.
Show it live too.
Face tats.
Even better. You can put an EST date on your face.
So yeah, once
right?
Yeah, I'm getting there. So once I'm happy with the layout, I try to look at things that can be improved further. So for example, I see that there's a space here. Maybe we can put a stroke like this so that it further balances out. Or actually this is it. So if I go further down to the refined layout, kind of looks something like this. Yeah. Yep. So I kind of balance the stuff at top and the spacing that's here. I think that this can be further improved, but this is one of the things that I ended up with. So if you guys have any comments on like the pairing of the type and the styling, yeah, I appreciate it. If you have any comments.
Okay, I think you did a great job. I think there's a future for you in lettering. I just feel like you could do this. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, you're really good at this. I'm not sure I would agree with all the decisions that you've made here, and I just want to say a couple things. I know that when you're doing lettering, you try to fill up all the space so it's nice and balanced. And so sometimes you're adding flourishes, and sometimes adding the flourish actually makes it harder to read. So there is a balance there, and each person's going to do it a little bit differently. But no matter what, though, there are many executions in here that you've done that I think look really handsome. Here's some of the key takeaways, and we're going to move on to Mihai. Okay. Yeah. One is you're always striving to achieve optical balance. You're looking at letter spacing and even how the letter forms are structured in the first place. And you want to make sure things are really legible. Please don't sacrifice legibility for cleverness. This is something that you've heard me say many, many times before. And what you want to do is also, if you're doing a script like this, to make sure the stroke angle is consistent, relatively speaking. Okay, so you lay out the grid. Jelvin showed us a bunch of tricks and tips. I know that's a lot to process. Obviously, he makes it look easy because he's been doing this. He's put in his 10,000 hours. He's an expert. Okay, Jelvin, thank you very much. Let's move on to Mihai. And let me go back to my deck here. Shoot, where is it? We're going to pick the next person. Of course, we already know, so it's not like a mystery, anybody. Share that. And then, okay, so next up is Vinay Sagar, I think. Vinay Sagar, and he has a personal logo, and I assume he's a designer. So Vinay Sagar. So we're going to get into what Mihai has to offer us. So Mihai, take it over, man.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. And thanks for having me. So I'm going to just share my screen and jump into it. So
let's do it. And while you're doing that, I resent whoever said if you're over 40, you prefer the mouse. How dare you? That's ageist. And I do like the mouse.
I was the same way as you, Chris. I used to use the tablet a lot, and then I prefer the precision of the mouse, especially when selecting points and pulling out stuff. Very particular, because I feel like the Wacom pen is just not quite accurate enough, especially when I'm trying to pick a dot out of 100 dots. It's that precision that I need.
Okay, so this is my. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can.
Good.
Okay, so I always work. I like to turn on my white artboard everywhere. So I think it's Command Shift H. If I'm wrong. Okay, so first thing that I did when selecting the logos is to establish a criteria of trying to improve the actual logo. So I thought about it from a perspective of so it has room for improvement.
Mhm.
So right now we're looking at this. Let's just take the type away. We don't need it.
Before you start working on it, I just want to ask you, if I'm trying to get my work picked by you, what do I need to do? Like, why did you pick this of all the, it seems like there were 100 logos and some of them were really beautiful. Why did you pick this one in particular?
I'm very good with monograms, especially. I have I can't say I have a lot of experience, but I do know my stuff.
I see.
So towards monograms. So I also like the geometric vibe here that I have, which is also very close to what I do. So
that's super interesting.
Yes.
Both you guys pick things that you like to do and enjoy doing. So whereas Jelvin likes script and hand lettering and calligraphy, you like metric, monograms, and you're actually very good at doing those things too. So fantastic. So now we know if you guys want to be picked, either do a script or a monogram.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be a monogram.
Right.
It could be everything except lettering. I'm not good at lettering, so I will leave that to Jelvin.
I see.
Okay, so so I'll just get into the what I think we can improve here and what caught my eye. So right now the logo is a bit cluttered. So because of these lines and this small cut lines that cut the logo. So he actually sent me the logo is made up of these pieces. And then when I was working on the logo and preparing for this
for a live stream,
live stream.
Yes,
I deconstructed it into small pieces. So we have here the V, the S, and now we will try to combine it. So I'll just take this this left side of the V, and I'll just go down. We can just reflect this this part, or just take, since I already have it, to make things much quicker. So we have V. So my point here is I'm trying to improve these options. There are like numerous ways we could do this, but I will try one option and see how that works, and then maybe try another one.
Okay.
So we have the V. I'll just take this. Let me just make a copy it. So by holding Alt, and I'll just put it like randomly here, and by holding Shift, I will go like 3 times, like 30 pixels down. So so it's everything is aligned. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, and now by holding Shift, I will move it here. So we want this part to intersect with this point right here. You will understand later why.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'll just take this upper part and do the same for the bottom. So again, raise it 3 times by holding Shift, or 4. I can't remember. I think it was 4. It's 4. Okay, and now I'll just take this part of the diagonal of the S and place it. Let me just turn on my outlines and place it so something should be here. Now I would like to make a copy of the right part of the V and drag it on where the upper part of S ends. I hope what I'm saying is clear.
It's clear. Keep going.
Okay.
You're doing good.
Yeah. So we have kind of VS right now. It is just that it's not optically balanced, and we need to make the cuts. Yeah, so I'll switch back to normal mode. So okay, I'll just drag this part VS to the right a couple of times, and I usually, when I work, my artboard is full of duplicates. So just like Aaron Draplin said, vectors are free. So feel free to always to make a duplicate in case you want to go back. So let me just. So I'll just now take my the cuts. For the cuts, I'm going to use also small rectangles, so we keep it safe. So we have a white rectangle here. I'm going to bring this. Actually, I'm going to bring this in front. So arrange and bring to front, or it's Command Shift and square bracket, I think. Yeah, so something like this. Now for this part right here, I'm going to merge this. Actually, I'm going to make another duplicate just to keep it safe. So this part right here, I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool to unite them, and then I'm going to go to Object, Path, and Offset Path to create the cut. I think by looking optically, it should be so something like or 14 or 15 pixels. I mean, we can always go back and so we have to make this again, this white also by using the eyedropper tool. So we kind of have something like this now. I'm going to make another copy. So at the end, we just look at the starting point and then compare. And by holding Shift and Alt at the same time, I will duplicate this part right here. So it should be something like this. Again, white. Bring this part up, and it needs to be a little bit to the left if we look at it. Yeah. So I will remove this part right here because it makes the logo. You don't want to put cuts on areas where you don't have a lot of space. They are good here, but they aren't so good here. So again, duplicate. I'm just going to press P. So I select the pen tool, then minus to remove this point right here. And this one can go here, let's say. So this is what we have right now. Upon desire, we can cut everything with this by using this path and this left part of the V. And this is kind of where I got with my exploration. The next part would be in order to, I mean, we can keep it single color, but in order to maybe is a good point would be to add some colors, so just to make the logo, the letters differentiate themselves a bit. And now, by looking at the logo, I kind of feel like I would like to move this part here down a bit. I don't know if maybe the audience could tell me which one's better. I kind of feel this one is a bit better because it's not intersecting with this part of the V.
Okay. Why don't we do this? If you
yeah.
put the letter A and the letter B underneath those two versions, I'll ask them to type in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that it's a little easier for everybody to know.
And here should be B.
Okay. So you guys, do you prefer something that's not, the stroke is not falling all the way around? Some more editing is being done on the version B or version A? Let us know. Hit it in the comments. Oh.
Could you zoom in a little bit?
Or B.
Yeah, sure, of course. So
Thank you.
it's visible. Okay, so another option would be to add maybe some color. I'm not sure this is the best idea, but I think it's worth trying. So we can add some contrasting colors, maybe an orange for the S. I mean, it looks also good this way. And also for the V, we can add a complementary color, blue, something like this. I mean, it's a bit harsh. Or usually orange is pretty good with red. So let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure this is the best idea. I kind of like the single color version, but I think it's we can also let the audience decide if they want color or a single version. So I'm open to anything.
Okay,
Actually,
perfect. Go ahead.
I actually like the orange with the original blue. It kind of looks very sleek, but yeah.
Yeah. You want contrasting colors because if the printus and the reproduction is poor, then the red and the orange kind of become the same color, right?
Yeah. I mean, orange is like how do I say it? Like a following color of red. So sometimes yes, they can.
It's an adjacent color on the color wheel, right?
Yes. This is the word I was looking for. So,
okay, let's do this. Let's take a look at the original logo. I would like to give the original logo a critique. Yeah, but let's put it somewhere near here so that we can see it. We can put those two next to each other, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, Jelvin, feel free to also make some comments. And once this is set up, I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents here. Let me give you my 5 cents. I'm feeling generous today.
I got $1.
Well, then
are high. No.
Who gives more?
Yeah, okay. All right, here we go. So when I look at the original logo, I can see that there's some interesting form here, and he's trying to create the illusion of dimension where that letter S is sweeping underneath the V, and then it goes back behind it. And then it gets confusing at the bottom part of the S. That's where I had the biggest issue with it. Because typically these ribbons, they fold back in space. They don't fold forwards and backwards in the way that fold is on the lower right corner of the S. That's where it feels funny to me. These kinds of interlocking letter forms work better when there's more parts to cross over. But the original mark itself was a pretty nice mark. It's bold, it's legible, and it's kind of a unique shape, and I like it. And the stroke weight seems pretty good. And I keep this in mind, you guys. Mihai has other things to do, so he's just trying to do this live with you. He's got some ideas, and he's just trying to solve a problem, which I'm sure Vinay had more time to work out, right? So let's look at the new one here, right? So what we're trying to do here is a lot of people get hung up on this, like, well, you ruined it, or you made it better, or just a totally different logo. We're just trying to share a process with you so that you can learn along with us, as if you were leaning over his shoulder while he's working and just talking. Given time, all of us could design the most amazing logo. So he's using the basic shapes. So he's still using the foundation building blocks. Had he started fresh, maybe he would have done a totally different design. So I give them props for just staying within the parameters. As you guys know, when I design a logo, sometimes I throw out the baby with the bathwater and just start over because it's just not working, right? Anyways, so he simplified the design. He's keeping the strokes a little bit more consistent in terms of their width.
Yes.
Some of the problems I have right now is the little counter space that's being trapped in the S, the little triangle.
This one.
It's a little small. It's a little delicate. It's a little fussy for me. So I would probably just work on that a little bit more so that either goes away or you make it clearer. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. This could be done.
That's my one comment there. And I think if you stare at this for too long, then you start to just read it as a shape, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's turns into icon, less of a monogram. Okay.
Mhm.
Jelvin, do you have thoughts?
Actually have the same thoughts as well because especially with the overlap original logo in particular, like if you try to fold something like that on paper, it just doesn't make sense. I tried doing it here, so I like what Mihai did actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It feels a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
And I could see this being a logo for a sports team, like the Virginia Stallions or something. Like, boom, there you are. You know, bam.
Yes, this is because of the slant and it gives a dynamic feel.
And it has a sense of speed. Whenever you put things on a bias like that or skew, it feels like it's moving and it's falling forward, right?
Yes, the main point was to kind of have the S like aligned at the same angle as the V, so it's kind of pleasant to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this probably could have been done better. I'm not saying, and I'm open to any feedback. So maybe tomorrow maybe tomorrow when I will look at it, I will have another idea or maybe change it like drastically. But for now, like this is what I could come up with.
Yeah. Mihai, do me a favor. Duplicate the blue and orange one to the right and then switch the colors. Have the V be orange and the S be blue. Because some people are commenting warm colors tend to come to the foreground and cool colors recede. So they want to make sure the order is being read correctly, you know?
Yeah.
So, of course, these are all things we can try. So now you guys can see VS.
Actually, perhaps? This is better. So thanks for the tip.
Yeah. So you know what? Just for fun, I'm not saying that you should do this, but if we add the letter U, this could be the Special Victims Unit for a new TV show. And I think that's all the time we have for today, you guys. Of course, we could sit here and noodle on this, and everybody's got an opinion on everything. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. So if you're watching this and you feel like, hey, I'm going to outscript the scripting guy, I'm going to out vector the vector guy, do us a favor, go ahead and do it and share it on social media. And okay, so I'm going to go and share my screen again. I'm going to wrap up the show, guys. We're a little bit over the time limit. Okay, I think you have to stop the sharing.
Okay. So.
And then there we go. Thank you. So we see your face. I'm going to share my screen. Come on, who's hogging up the sharing of the screen?
How do I? Oh.
Who's doing that? I cannot share my screen.
Sorry. It was me.
Oh, it was you. I
had no idea how to get out of sharing screen.
Okay, so here we go, guys. Okay, I want to thank both Jelvin and Mihai for coming on the show. This is 2x2, guys. Yeah, take on two logos and jam it out, you guys.
Appreciate
you guys
it.
did it like a boss. Of course, I want to see your work, guys. So if you tag us on social media, we'll take a look at it. I love that both these guys are super humble and willing to come on the show, expose themselves, and share what they know. So we all learn together. This has been raw, and there's been questions about how you submit your logo. First of all, you do need to engage with us on Facebook. Find us at The Future Is Here, and you'll see a post like this, and it'll say call for submissions. Every time we're looking for layouts or typography or lettering, we're going to make it very clear. You can see that 159 people commented. That means there were 150 or so people that we're looking at, okay? I just want to remind you guys, please, if you like this, comment, and subscribe. Mark, take us out of here with some music, please.